Step right up, let's take the dive. Crypto world is coming alive. From XRP to the blockchain beat. Join the crew, we're pioneers meet. Got builders, dreamers, paving the way. Multi-chain vibes, we're here to stay. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Faces of crypto, stories we share. Early adopters, they're everywhere. From XRP to the Web3 wave. Bold moves, only we're here to pave. Melissa and Simon, they light the way. Every week it's a crypto play. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Let's crypto dance. No advice, just a spark to ignite. Do your research, keep your vision tight. Community strong, we're building the way. Dip a toe show, here to stay. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Don't take a chance, don't be shy. Crypto's calling, we're reaching the sky. Join the movement, come take a look. Web3's rising, the world's been shook. Ooh.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Keda.
Merry Christmas, Miss World Be Free. How are you this evening?
I'm fantastic on this beautiful Christmas Eve 2025.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, is right. I wasn't sure whether I was going to do a live broadcast this evening. Simon is spending Christmas Eve with his family. Imagine that. and it's just funny because this is the second year in a row where Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fell on our show days, on our live show day.
Yeah.
And but we're going to be New Year's Eve. We're going to do a live stream too, and Simon will be able to do that with me. But I want to wish him a Merry Christmas. Him and Megan, we love you guys.
Merry Christmas to both of you for sure.
Yeah, we got our trusty Silver Days in the house. Says Merry Christmas and may God bless us, everyone. We love you, Silver Days. It's just fantastic. He is in here. I'm assuming it's a male. I don't know why. It's kind of like when you get a dog, and I always call all dogs males. But when I see a generic name like Silver Days, I just think it's a male. But I could be wrong. But we love you nonetheless, and we appreciate you coming to the Dip a Toe show every week. He's always the first one in the chat, and fantastic person. And our friend Stir Crazy. We love you, Stir Crazy. You know who that is too, Keda.
Stir Crazy? Do I know Stir Crazy?
Stir Crazy was in Vegas.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you met him in Vegas 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll have to talk about it offline about it just to make sure, because I know how that goes.
Silver says 100% male dude here from Texas. Oh man, Silver, you're from Texas.
Oh, you're in Texas too. Okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Keda's in Texas. Keda's in Texas. You got to make the trip to Fort Lauderdale, Silver Days. I don't know if
Yes.
you're going to go in January, at the end of January, but there's a whole bunch of us that are going to be in Fort Lauderdale for Alan Staple and the Staple Cruise. Fantastic XRP kickoff event for 2026. It's going to be amazing. So hopefully those that can come will be there, because it is going to be great. There's going to be so many people there that you'll
Oh my
probably
gosh,
know
it's
and
gonna be a
recognize.
party. Listen, it's gonna be such an amazing time. And we're all super excited about Fort Lauderdale, because not only are people coming into town, but there are people that actually live in the state of Florida that are actually able to roll out and come and hang out with us. So we're super excited about the whole entire like situation out there for that time. It's going to be an amazing time.
Listen, Chad, Merry Christmas from Mackinac Island. Ryan and I are going to have to come see you. We're going to have
Yeah.
to come see you. We go up north all the time. We cross the bridge all the time. We've been to Mackinac Island several times. It's a beautiful, magical place. I'm sure it's awesome at Christmas time. Definitely will come for a walking tour this summer, my friend. And I've always wonder. My uncle Jeff, he had this incredible opportunity to be the golf pro at the golf course there on Mackinac Island, and his wife was going to be like the accountant person, and unfortunately he had a stroke, and
Mhm.
he wasn't able. And they were still going to give him the job because he was getting better, but he just didn't feel like he could do it. And but they love Mackinac Island. They go there every year. They have friends there. Yeah, it would be awesome. And then since you live there, I wouldn't be surprised if you know who they are. So
Well, it would be interesting to find out, especially like for me, I'm always about like trying to find out like about new areas of the country that I haven't visited, that I don't know about, that have some amazing things that make them unique
mhm.
and draw attention to that particular area. So yeah, for sure. You know,
I'll
I
tell
don't.
you. Oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say, Chad, you should plan an XRP event on Mackinac Island. If you plan it, they will come. That is a magical place. I know. Well, Ryan's a forensic entomologist, and they have like conferences there at the big hotel. And it would be a perfect place to have an XRP event, to where people could get like. They have the experience of taking the boat over to the island, and it's not very expensive. I mean, some places you go to take the boat over to the island is really expensive. Now, I will say, Mackinac Island's a little pricey, so bro, Chad, hook us up with some connections so we can come and plan an XRP event there, because it would be fantastic. But it would have to be in the summer, in my opinion.
Well, I do definitely want to give a big shout out to those people that are currently in our audience. We have, first of all, we have 22 people that are watching this live stream that is streaming out to IMU TV as well as to YouTube and to the X app. But we have NTO in the audience, Mr. Silver Days, Charles's wonderful walking tours, and then we also have Mr. Jay Fitzy in the audience. And I know as our friends see us online, they will come and hang out with us.
Come hang with
So
us,
I'm
guys.
expecting to see more people in here as our show goes further into this evening. And don't forget, after we do this show, we will also have the After Dark space on the X app. And that'll be at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we can bring those people that are in the actual audience into the conversation so that they can actually speak with us. So definitely hang out with us after the show for sure.
Well, and I'm even considering doing the old boardroom coffee time, like Berserker and Uncle Buster
I
do,
like it.
where they throw the link in the chat, and people can come up on stage with us.
I'm all down for it.
So
Let's
I'm
go,
like,
because that makes for a better conversation for sure.
yeah, Mr. Zam may or may not be joining us later, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Stone. I know he was like, "You got to do a show. You got to do the show." So it's something that I've been wanting to do for sure. Is have extra people come in and surprise us. So that would be cool. I don't know. We lost Keda. I definitely, yeah, oh, you love Uncle Buster, don't you, Silver Days? Yeah, I love Uncle Buster too. Uncle Buster, Berserker, and Nerdy are some of the most intelligent people I've ever met. They have a quality show on YouTube as well, and they do it, and it's coffee time with Uncle Buster and Berserker. There you are.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. I don't know if I pushed it, fat fingered it, or how I did it, but it said no ma'am and no sir, and said, okay, well, we're just gonna do what you are doing, whatever that is. So I am legitimately just trying to figure this thing out right now. You're seeing me in my complete total, like, yeah, you're seeing me.
No worries.
And I'm
No worries. No worries. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
It's all good. Listen, it's all good. I'm totally here for the whole entire show. Regardless of what happens, I'm here for it. And as we see, Mr. Korn has joined us. Thank you for being here, Mr. Ryan. We are always excited to have you in the spot. And I'm really trying to get my whole thing to match Miss World Be Free, but it is not letting me, and it's okay. Listen, I'm here for it.
Well, I did want to talk about, so there's a lot of things that have happened in 2025, and it's so wild because I was listening back to Simon and I's 2024 overview for Christmas last year, and all of the things that we talked about in that. And it's like, whoa, there's a lot of things that have happened in 2025, some significant things, developments that we had been waiting for. So I kind of wanted to go over a few of these. For most of this audience, there's a lot of XRP people that love the Dip a Toe show. And so I thought I would start talking about that. And the one thing that happened that was very significant to that community is the longstanding SEC versus Ripple case concluded in August of 2025 with a settlement. It reduced the penalty to $50 million from earlier demands, which I don't remember, Keda, but I remember SEC was asking for like an ungodly amount of money, right?
They were asking for $2 billion.
Yeah.
Almost two, literally, it was like just under $2 billion.
$2 billion.
And the crazy part is that, you know, at the end of the day, Ripple only had to pay what, $125 million, I think it was.
50, reducing the
50.
50
Okay.
million.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that says something to you.
Exactly.
And what it says to me is that, you know, Ripple has joined the ranks of those companies that have been sued by the SEC that are disruptors, right? So that's going to be your Teslas, that's going to be your Googles, your Facebooks, your, you know, like those type of companies that have now come up that they just cannot compete against. So SEC has come out and they have litigated against them. And basically what that means is that it has to be regulated by the government in some way. And in order for that to be the case, because they were a private company, they had to litigate against them in order for them to be some type of legal precedent for them, because they are like, you are so much of a disruptor that you cannot be something that is owned by or run by the public sector. It has to be either regulated by the government or it has to be under the purview of the government. And that's just me. That's what I've seen this year, and in just all of everything that we have seen, whether it's coming from, the Genius Act and the Clarity Act of understanding what these digital assets and cryptocurrencies are actually going to be classified as, and then also how they're going to be regulated in this particular framework, for us as individuals and also entities that may also interact with these particular assets.
I agree. Well, and so I've often thought that the SEC versus Ripple case was a problem reaction solution type of scenario. No matter which way you look at it, you definitely need to have clarity. And Ripple kind of stood up against the SEC, which did, no matter what current cryptocurrency or blockchain that you are interested in, this was a win for the entire space. It did provide some clarity there. And it ended up with the partial victory in 2023, earlier. And the SEC had dropped appeals, and then granted XRP full non-security status for secondary sales, which that was a big thing, a big topic of discussion was, XRP is not a security. And so that provided clarity for other coins and sales of coins and that as well.
But I think it's even more than that. Melissa. I think what's interesting about it is the fact that, Ripple is so much of a disruptor because at the end of the day, XRP is built for cross-border payments, right? And doing it in such a way that it reduces the cost, it reduces the time, the lag time of the actual transaction being completed as well as settled, right? So there's that aspect of it too. And, because of the fact that in some instances it's difficult for the community at large, in like the larger community, the larger populace, to be able to understand what that means, as well as how that can affect them as a consumer, right? So because of that, it almost seems like the actual court case slowed it down enough that they could start to introduce these concepts to the broader populace, so that when it comes to fruition, that they can't say they haven't heard it. They can't say they haven't been able to process it in some way. You know what I mean? And then when it is completely, like the actual entire, framework has been finished, that when they finish with the actual end result and end processes, that they can say, okay, well, now we've heard it, we've seen it in process, and now we're coming to the end time frame. And so, okay, now this can be accepted a little bit easier now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. 100%. These are all things that set the stage for the future, right? And most people don't give this any attention whatsoever. But if you are in the digital asset space, you definitely gave that your attention. Now, whether or not, I think a lot of people thought that once that lawsuit was over, the price was going to jump. And in 2025,
and that's not what it means, though.
It doesn't. No,
at all.
Because there's still a ways to go. XRP's price performance was kind of mixed overall for the year. Despite it's surging to like $3.60, I think in July was its first new high in 7 years. I think this is what my research did, because we had the ETF anticipation and institutional inflows that exceeded 1 billion. But by the end of the year, right now it's hovering around 190 last I looked.
And some of that I feel like is totally market manipulation, right?
Yes.
I totally believe that, because at the end of the day, all of the things that would have actually like promoted some type of market restructuring, market, revaluation, all of those things, they have been there and gone. And so to me, I feel like this is emotional manipulation as well as market manipulation, so that people don't feel like a certain thing will cause price appreciation. And I think it's important to realize that the price appreciation is not necessarily associated with news.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I
let's
mean?
talk. Let's talk about that for a second,
Yeah.
because a lot of people do think that that you'll get the people that don't like XRP in particular. They get all happy and they're like, ha ha ha, it's not going up, it's not going up. You get the people that are very hopeful with news coming in that it's going to make the price jump. And the fact of the matter is, you don't want something being manipulated by news. You don't want the president of the United States or some other kind of news to show incredible volatility. It's my belief with the utility token, like XRP, the utility coin for the XRP ledger. It's my belief that once the actual utility kicks in to where it's mass adopted on a utility level, that price will become much more stable. And right now, they're not ready for it. It's not ready to go. I mean, it's getting there, right? We're also early in this digital asset space to begin with, and so in order for it to be a solid, yeah. So says, all on purpose. Those who will wait will be rewarded, and they agree with me. Yeah, it's you don't like I said, you don't want Donald Trump or anybody else to have such a significant impact on the price of something. Once the use case and the utility kicks in, we're going to see much different prices. And I personally don't think you're going to be able to buy these kind of tokens, these utility tokens, for the prices that we're able to buy now. Now, obviously, not financial advice, kids. We don't give financial advice here, but if you do your own research and you look at the companies and the tokens and the blockchains that are going to be part of the financial future or already are players in this field, those are the ones that I believe are going to be utility driven. And once they start hitting the prices where the utility is mass adopted, you're not going to be buying XRP for $2 at all. It's just not going to happen.
That time is going to be the time when you were pissed off that you didn't buy it at $2.
Buy a little bag now if you want to.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. When I was seeing videos of people saying, oh man, I can't wait till I just get to 10,000 XRP.
Yep.
That was crazy to me because I know where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the thing is that is going to be way more prevalent than people want to actually admit to. Okay. Because when you're sitting there saying, oh man, I'm hoping that I can get to at least just owning one XRP.
Exactly.
And because that's what's happening with Bitcoin, right?
With all of it.
With all of it. I mean, like, think about it. Like, to think about it, like Bitcoin is 100,000, well, at least almost $100,000 for one coin, right? Just think about it. Solana is almost $100 a pop, if not $100 a pop. So we're still looking at it from the vantage point of, oh, I hope I can own just one. And that's Solana.
If you look at it like, XRP was hovering around 50 cents for a long time. a long time.
I know you were telling people about it, Melissa.
I was telling people about it, and I think about it, and it's like, and I continue to DCA all this time. I don't have a lot of money, right? I have little baby bags, and I've got little guy money, right? But back in the day when you could buy it for 50 cents, you could have picked up 10,000 XRP for $5,000. Now, were people doing it? No. Why? Because height of the SEC lawsuit, there was much more uncertainty surrounding it, much like, when Bitcoin was so low, to buy a significant portion, people were still like, I'm not going to do that because $5,000 is a lot, right? Getting 10,000 XRP at 50 cents, most people won't put up that. They won't take that kind of risk. Us little guys won't. That's why it was so awesome that it was 50 cents for so long, that people could afford to dip their toe into it and just set it and forget it, DCA into it and forget it. Now at $2, you're going to pay $20,000. There's a big difference between 5,000 and 20,000. So it's already pricing people out. And it's the same for these other projects too, that we'll talk a little bit more about some other things, but I want to focus still here on Ripple and XRP in this first little segment. But it's all relative, right? And so me personally, what I've done, I decided to diversify my bags, diversify my holdings in the way that I hold my crypto. And so I decided to take advantage of iTrust Capital's Roth IRA. Because if I believe that XRP, and there's a lot of other token choices that are within iTrust Capital's Roth IRA, and you can max it out, if you're over 55, I think, and you can put in $8,000. Otherwise, I think it's like $7,000 for 2025. And then next year it'll go up to 8,600 for people in their 50s, and maybe 7,500 or something like this for younger people. But the fact of the matter is, if you put in at 8,000 dollars, if you're going to contribute to an IRA or Roth or something like that, maybe diversify yourself and get 4,000 XRP right now while you can, and then forget about it. And then 10 years down the road, when you're going to retire, 20 years down the road, if you're a young person, 30 years down the road, however long you got, that will grow tax-free. And it'll just be a way of, you won't be able to cash out your XRP. Now, that's the one thing about the crypto IRAs is, you cash out in fiat, right? That's the deal that you do. This is not for everybody, but for people that want to dip their toe into crypto and see like crazy gains, which I believe that you will see in the next 10 years, it's a play. That I was willing to split up my holdings a little bit, and so then I will never have to sell my other bags at all ever to cash out. And my hope is that I'll be able to maybe live off this money in the future, tax free. I won't have to worry about the taxes part of it because it'll have grown in a Roth IRA completely tax free. So in any event, I just wanted to say that it definitely is, as these prices are still very low, and you start doing your research in it, there's still incredible opportunities for people to become involved in this, and you don't need a whole lot. You just need time.
But isn't that what we were looking for, though? Is
What's
for
that?
This to be a situation where the investment that we have made into these assets will allow for us not to have to worry about, having to have an income, that they will generate the income for us. And I'm not saying that this should be listed as a security. I'm not saying that. It's just about understanding what the value is of the assets that we hold and how they can then work for us, so that when it comes down to us finding the things that we would like to do as like an actual career or as an actual business, that we're able to do so and still be able to do that at our own leisure. I think that's important.
I think it's very important. One of the other things that I wanted to touch on with Ripple's success, I would say. And so if you've learned anything, they're a very strong company. Ripple themselves as a company, they're very strong. They have done quite a bit of moving and shaking this year. They expanded their payment tech with adoptions, or with the institutions adopting it for cross-border settlements under the new Genius Act framework. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. But they also had some significant mergers and acquisitions during 2025. And they had at least 4 major acquisitions totaling over $3 billion. The deals focused mainly on expanding its digital asset infrastructure, including custody, treasury management, stablecoin payments, and prime brokerage services. This repositioned Ripple as a leader in bridging traditional finance and blockchain, with an emphasis on compliance, real-time settlements, and institutional adoption. So here's the list, guys, of what they did. And I don't know if you have these notes or not, but the first one that they did, they acquired Hidden Road. And I remember we talked about that.
Yes, we did.
Digital Ladies Unscripted.
Yes, we did.
They've since rebranded it to Ripple Prime, which I think is really interesting.
And I didn't know about that Ripple Prime situation, but I think that the Hidden Road acquisition was very, very important. And I think that it is very strategic in the build out of the infrastructure that Ripple is looking to implement, right? Because I remember back in the day when Ripple came out saying that they were looking to make a dent in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And
they're making one.
And they are, because they are literally putting everything in, every aspect into place so that they can be the juggernaut that they are. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, they're going to have everything from derivatives to the settlement piece to the actual custody piece to the utilizing derivatives, utilizing every single aspect of what the actual institutional grade settlement piece can be. That's exactly what Ripple is doing right now.
Now, you want to know what, Keda? This is what's so funny. I have some more points on the Hidden Road thing too, but here's the thing that's really funny. When I first got into my journey of researching things, I'll admit I was looking at things with the angle of these the corporations and what they're doing and how they're all connected, and I was thinking of it as a negative, in a negative way. And I'm not saying that it's not a negative way, okay? Because there are companies, and they've been there forever. The whole world is built on this kind of web full of like the house of cards, where you could pull it out and they're, they could all collapse at the same time, and they're all they're all buying this one and buying that one. Unless you're really giving it any attention whatsoever, you don't really understand how connected they really are. Much like the media, right? And you realize how much of the media is all owned by the same company, or a couple of companies completely dictate the narrative for the news and things that we consume. Well, so when I'm researching Ripple and I'm seeing these acquisitions, these mergers and acquisitions, and even some of these other crypto companies, what they're doing in the back room and what they're doing in the back at the back end of things. how they, a lot of these young guys, they were all young guys when they started with this technology, and they're all kind of rooming together and they're all kind of hanging out and they have these ideas. And then the next thing one's creating Coinbase and one's creating Kraken and one's doing, building the XRP ledger and the other one's doing Ethereum. All these people are connected in some way, form or fashion, building different pieces of what is going to be the new financial system and in the way that we do commerce. And so I find it ironic that I'm championing, or I don't know how to say that right, champion for or cheering on and saying like, oh, this is really good news because here's what Ripple has acquired. Here's what Ripple has done, right? Because they're this big ass company. However, for those of us with the eyes to see, we're actually seeing it from the beginning and we're watching them move. And I'm pretty sure they probably don't even like the fact that we're watching them move as much as we do, because we're kind of spilling the beans to the world. And it's kind of crazy too, that it doesn't even matter because we are shouting from the rooftops. You have your show, Keda's Brew TV, Stone Coffee and Crypto with Stone, Monday through Friday on X Spaces. He's yelling it from the rooftops. You got the boardroom, Berserker and Uncle Buster and Nerdy X. They're talking about it. You got 68J, Crypto for Life, their shows. You have all these people talking about it on a regular basis, trying to shake the tree and get people to understand what is happening in the world. And yet they still don't give it attention. And so it doesn't really, when they say like, it doesn't really matter if we know or we don't know, and everything is out in the open. It is out in the open. And it's just that most folks don't give it any attention. And I find it ironic, really. But yeah, so the Hidden Road that's been rebranded to Ripple Prime. Now that is Ripple's entry into multi-asset prime brokerages. And it's going to enable services like clearing, financing, OTC, which is over-the-counter trading, institutional liquidity across crypto, FX, and derivatives. This acquisition integrated Hidden Road's technology with XRP's ledger for faster settlements using RLUSD and XRP, tapping into massive markets like the DTCC's quadrillion dollar volume. So the Hidden Road, if you guys have not heard about it, just plug it into Grok or, ChatGPT or Edge browser, any of them. Just type out Hidden Road or Ripple Prime and look at the services that they provide. Look at the markets that they're tapping into, and you will realize that it is a really big deal. And one of the other things that they did, they announced, Keda, they announced Rail in August of 2025, and it closed on December 11th, 2025 for $200 million. And
you said Rail, is that the name of the company, or is that the name of
Rail? RAIL, Rail. They specialize in B2B, which I believe is business to business stablecoin payments, and they handle 10% of global volume with features like virtual accounts, automated reconciliation, and instant cross-border payments. And so this bolstered Ripple's payments as an end-to-end stablecoin solution, which is now
Rails is important because, right, we talk about the different rails that are available on rail, like on ramps, off ramps. We call those rails, right? Because we need to have a way to be able to off-put anything that we may need to sell off, as well as to onboard. So that's going to be on ramps and off ramps, which are different types of rails. That's how I understand them.
Well, they are. So they're doing like automated reconciliation and instant cross-border payouts for business to business stablecoin payments. So they're going to allow seamless fiat to stablecoin transfers without businesses holding crypto directly. So this is going to tap into businesses being able to use maybe crypto like stablecoin, but they're not going to have to hold that crypto directly.
Oh,
And
so this would be more like an ETF situation type of a
mm,
thing.
no, I don't necessarily think that. I think that we'll have to look it up a little bit deeper, but they are, it's kind of facilitates the end-to-end solution for from business to business, transferring stable coins across the rail. And they call the company Rail. But it's going to allow those transfer of the stable coins without businesses actually having to hold crypto. And
Yeah.
so, but I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with ETFs.
So then do you believe that that will be the way that they are able to really be able to push those actual like stable coins, because the stable coins are going to be the way that they're able to settle those situations, especially if they're making like transactions, through it, an actual like blockchain situation. They need some type of a stable coin in order for them to be able to settle.
Yep. Yep. I think it's going to encourage them to use these stable coins. And the automated reconciliation part of it, it is that, at the end of the day, it's going to be, you sent this and this came out this way, and it'll be automated to where there's no middleman there, right? It's just going to be the instant transfer, and they'll be able to verify and reconcile that, be able to see that on their end, on each party's end.
But I think that that's what's important right now, right? Because as of right now, I think we have a couple of things that are in play in that whole thing of being able to say, okay, that needs to be in the background, and it needs to be something that is seamless that we don't have to worry about in the moment, right? But then there's also so many different aspects of that that's important, right? So we need to think about the security of people's information, right? So if that's the case, then we need to be thinking about the ZPKs, right? The zero knowledge proofs, right? So that's an aspect of it. And then making sure that people feel protected so that, you know what I mean? If it's a situation where I'm now having these type of transactions that are associated with it, how can I protect myself? How can I protect my holdings? How can I protect my wallets? How, you know what I mean? Like all these different aspects I think about when I hear those things, like off the bat, not even like going deep, just like these are the things that I think about when I hear that.
Well, I think this particular part of it is specifically businesses. And
Mm,
so like on for like the end user, so maybe a business collects payments from, their customers, but this is going to um transfer, like if I want to buy something wholesale from you or whatever, we're going to be and you want to do it in stable coin, we can transact through this way.
business to business,
Correct.
business to business for sure.
B2B. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Then the other thing that happened with Ripple this year, they acquired, and we also covered this on Digital Ladies Unscripted, so you guys can go back and watch that show because we did cover a lot of this, and it was our Ripple Swell show, where we kind of went over all the significant things that Ripple did over the year, and but they acquired G Treasury in October of 2025 for $1 billion.
Mm.
And that is a treasury management software provider. And so that was a big deal. It's going to help them with real-time liquidity tools for fiat and digital assets, which is the automating corporate finance and integrating with blockchain for unified treasury operations. And that was Ripple's third 9-figure deal of the year, aimed at enterprise adoption. And so to me, this kind of pushes or it shows they're acquiring these companies that already have the infrastructure set up, to be able to bring these types of businesses, um, into the equation, right? Into being able to use stable coins and the XRP ledger and XRP in general, and others, not just XRP, um, but others as well. And so I remember when we did our show, there were a lot of banks at Ripple Swell this year, Keda. If you know, there are a lot of big heavy hitters that were at Ripple Swell. And how long ago was it when we were talking, when we were speculating if banks were, when they were going to even get involved? How long ago was that? Not very long.
That's been that not that long ago, but here's the thing about that, right? There's been so many different implementations that have been happening in the last couple of months that are going to lead us believe that the banks are actually not, if not already involved, are literally coming to the table, right? Because at the end of the day, if we are looking for this ISO 222 20022 standard to come into play when it comes to transactions and how they're processed and the information that is actually noted in those particular transactions, we need to be aware of that, because that ISO 20022 is super important, right? Because all banks have to be on board with that in order for those transactions to go through. Because if one side of it has this enhanced imaging and an enhanced information, and the other side doesn't even work on that level, they're not going to be able to mesh appropriately, and those transactions are not going to be implemented, right? So that was the hard stop in November of 2025. Here's the problem with that. A lot of people tend to think that just because that's been implemented, that means price movement. It does not. It does not. And I say that again, it does not. What it means is there are messages that are in those particular transactions that can lead to better information, but that does not mean price appreciation. I don't care what anybody says to you concerning that. It is obvious and very prevalent that we see that there has not been any price movement associated with the implementation of these messaging standards. Okay? I don't care what anybody says to you concerning what you may have paid for when it comes to the information. That's not what it says. What it says is that there's more information, and you can use that so that it has better information for the transactions that are implemented associated with those particular messaging standards. So with that, I'll land my plane.
Land the plane. Yeah, you were talking about ISO 2000 or 22022 or 0022 standards, where everyone kind of gets all JoJo's the circus boy over it, thinking that it's going to mean that the price is going to go up because of the implementation of these things and that sort of thing. And at the end of the day, again, it's all about utility. Once utility kicks in, all of these things will become factors. It will not be one thing, right? It's going to be when it's ready, it's ready. And when that money comes in and the XRP gets locked up, that's when you're going to start seeing more a higher value, when it's actually being utilized,
Yes.
fully adopted. And it's a matter of time. We don't know when. It sure would be nice if it would happen sooner than later. But the other thing that they acquired in November of 2025, Ripple acquired Palisade. The exact amount is undisclosed, but it was part of the $4 billion total investment spree. Now, Palisade is a London-based firm that provides digital asset wallet and custody infrastructure using multi-party computation, which is MPC, for secure, scalable storage and sub-second transaction signing across multiple chains.
So we're talking about multi-sig wallets then.
Multi-party computation.
Yeah, that's
I believe.
multi-sig. Yeah.
Yep. And it strengthened Ripple's custody capabilities for fintechs and institutions. So again, we're looking at this particular company, Ripple, who, and Brad Garlinghouse did say that 2025 was going to be the year of acquisition, and he was no lie. Like, he did say
He meant that.
they were going to do acquisitions and mergers and all of that. But he did indicate that the acquisition pace was going to slow in 2026 because they've been so aggressive in 2025. But it's just big. It's big what they've done. And again, I think back and I'm like, oh geez, with a different hat on, with a different Melissa hat. If I wanted to look at this and go like, Ripple's the evil corporation acquiring all these companies, and look at their cornering, and
I think they're just doing good business.
They're doing good business, and it's out there in the open. Like I said, those with the eyes to see, you can benefit. And it doesn't have to be Ripple, the company that you're following. It could be any of these companies right now that are making waves in the digital asset space, right? It's not just Ripple that are doing these things. There are other blockchains and companies that are participating on certain blockchains that are doing the same thing, setting up their structures. If you were to look at XDC network and look at the collaborations that are working on the XDC network, or the Ethereum network, or companies that are building the tools to make Bitcoin more efficient and faster, and the energy sector is in relation to Bitcoin, right? Take your pick right now, guys. You can take a path and a rabbit hole and go down it. And once you discover what is being built and you do your own research, pick one and follow it. But yeah, that's really what I wanted to say about XRP. And we took 51 minutes talking about XRP, and there's so much more stuff to talk about. But
listen, XRP is a mixed bag, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to XRP, XRPL, Ripple, the company. Like, there's so much to talk about. You can't be mad about taking time to really like dig deep into that. You know what I'm saying?
Michael St. John, my friend. Do I think it's going to drop to 70 cents? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't. It would be, I'll tell you what, if it drops to 70 cents, I'm going to buy.
I'm buying
as much as I can.
I'm buying as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I am, but I really don't think so. And actually, to be honest, I was hoping just even for it to go down to 175, because I do have funds in my iTrust right now. And I bought it. I got some at when it had dipped down to, oh gosh, I don't remember whether it was like 181 or something like that, or maybe it was 185. I think it was 181. I got a chunk. And then I was thinking, because everybody did think within this, like last week, everybody did think it was going to go lower. We thought it was going to go lower, and I listened to a lot of different people, and I didn't spend all of my money. I've got cash. What do they call that? Dry powder. I got dry powder waiting in my iTrust Capital account, ready to pull it. And you can do what they call conditional ordering within the iTrust. If anybody's interested, I do have an affiliate link or whatever. And if you use my link, you get like an extra $100 for joining iTrust Capital. So I have to find it, and but if anyone's interested, reach out to me and I'll send it to you. I'm not sure like how much I'm going to share my link out or anything like that, but it is an opportunity to get an extra $100 in your iTrust Capital account, which is kind of cool. But in any event, so I have this dry powder, and they have the thing where you can do conditional. which I thought it was like a limit order, but it's not really. They call it conditional transaction order. And so I put an order in for like 175, and I was sure it was going to go down to that, or I wasn't sure. I was hopeful. And then I figured out that I could have done multiple ones. And then whichever one hit is what one would fill it, right? And so now when I could have just bought it, and see, I'm one of these people that is, when I see a good price, I was just hoping to buy XRP again at $2 or less. That was my goal. At $2, when it was at $2.20, I was like thinking, gosh, I want to do this. I want to do this Roth IRA thing. And, but $2.20, I'm going to get a lot less. I wanted to wait to pull the trigger till the price was under $2. Lo and behold, I got the money. I put it in there and the price dropped below $2. I should have been happy. And these are the things, guys, that we wrestle with, right? Don't get too greedy, because I mean, I could have bought, more XRP if I would have just bought it all at that time. But I took the risk and I didn't. And now for the same money, I'm going to get less XRP, right? Or whatever token. I mean, I'm talking XRP right now because that's what I like, and that's what I wanted to buy more of. However, now the price, started going up again. And so now I have a higher low that I have an order for, because I have a higher high in terms of what I'm willing to pay, as long as it's still under that $2 mark, right? I just want to buy it under $2. Because why? Because that was my personal goal. You guys all got to have your own goals. Look at the amount of money you have, look at the amount of XRP you desire to hold, figure out the price point in which that could happen, and then discover whether it's realistic for you to be able to get it or not. And if you can't, then you got to lower your expectation, right? What do I got to work with? This sort of thing. But as far as having it dip to 70 cents, I wish that it would. I think it would be awesome if it would. Even if it dipped to $1, that'd be fantastic. But I think we're getting so close to, we're closer than ever with regulatory clarity. There's a lot of, don't forget about the other countries that have their infrastructures in place, their rules and regulations. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here too, with the MiCA regulations and that stuff. The whole world is working together. So you can't just focus on United States and, with what they're doing. And, so I would just say, Michael St. John, if you want to buy XRP, you should just buy some right now. Just buy some right now. And maybe save a little dry powder. Save a little dry powder on the side. And if it drops to 70 cents, boom. Place a limit order somewhere, put your money, forget it, and hope it dips. And that's really, you're never going to time it. Because I tell you what, even when the prices do dip, they shoot right back up. And
they do.
You literally, if you don't have your shit together, you don't have your bank connected to wherever it is you're buying to be able to put your money in there, you're going to be scurrying around trying to get your money in there, and you're going to miss it. You just will. Yeah.
I agree with you totally, Melissa. And here's the thing, like, at the end of the day, set it and forget it. I know Melissa said it, set it and forget it.
Set it, forget it.
Because when it comes down to it, you know what I mean? Because of the way the algorithm is set up, you know what I mean? It's not set up for us to win. It's set up for the institutions to win, right?
100%.
So if it's at the end of the day, if you really are wanting it at a certain price and knowing what it is right now, it's not going back down to that 28 cents. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
And if it did,
not.
I don't know if it did go down to 28 cents.
I would be so in it. I ain't even gonna lie.
I might be selling some stuff.
I don't even have a mortgage, but I would find me a mortgage to put that bad boy in.
Just saying, I might have to take a loan out somehow. I do want to say Merry Christmas to Florida Man Landscaping, for
Yes.
FinTech Management Limited, Jay and his wife. We love you, Shauna.
Jay
Merry
and
Christmas.
Fitzy.
And Fitzy's in the house, and
Oh, look at
MM.
Trisso.
Big
Trisso,
boy.
have a go. He just gave us $20. My
Oh, Merry
goodness.
Christmas,
Thank you so much, Trisso.
Big Broke Tens in the house. Love you, girl. We love you. Trisso, we love you, friend. I hope you're having a wonderful Christmas Eve yourself with your family.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. We miss you. Yeah, ladies, set and forget it. Yep, set and forget. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says that. That's gonna be the
set it and forget it, right?
Set it and forget
Listen, put dip a toe at the top and set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. I got so many ideas, you guys, for oh, and I can't. Tangela, we love you, lady. We love you, girl. Definitely Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a good evening this evening.
We love you guys. For sure.
We have 76 people in here tonight, you guys. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for being here.
Man, it's so awesome that you guys come every week. It really does mean a lot to the Dip a Toe Show. This is our second year. We completed 2 years on Dip a Toe, and we're slowly growing. We're over 1,000 subscribers now, which you guys have all helped us. It would be really awesome if you would share this out, put a comment down below, give a thumbs up, and all those types of things are free ways to help get this show out there more eyes. And also shout out to the imutv.tv family, which we heard we are now back live on Roku and what is it, Amazon Fire Stick, the Fire TV.
Well, is Amazon ready now? Because I know they were working on. Oh, that's so awesome.
I think if Fitzy's still in here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that I saw Niall post that that Fire is ready again, and Roku is live, and they're still looking, I think maybe Q1 of 2026 where Apple TV. Yep. But right now you can just go on your browser and type in imutv.tv, and we are streaming live there on that platform. Digital Ladies Unscripted also streams live, and we are, because it's new, a new platform, an upgraded 2.0 IMUTV. We have to upload all of our content that we want for the standalone channel. So I just haven't had the time to do it. It's going to take me some time because, our shows are 2 hours long. They're kind of large and it takes time to upload them, but I definitely will, so that when our people watch Dip a Toe Show and they go, oh, I want to see more, they'll be able to find us there within the imutv.tv, which is an incredible opportunity. It's been such a blessing Roku is live, and Amazon Fire is now live. It's been such a blessing, guys. And many of you have heard us say this before, but Dip a Toe Show was the first crypto educational content that was on IMUTV. We've kind of feel like we've been with them on the ground floor in that arena, and doing everything that we can do to support them. And they're just changing the way that the independent artists, whether you're a music artist, a content creator like ourselves, it's the way that they are propelling them for all of people to see and having them have an opportunity to earn their own revenue or present their content on their own terms it's unheard of. Owning their own content and that sort of thing. So if any of you aren't familiar with imutv.tv, please go to their webpage and check it out. And if you're a content creator or a musical artist, or you have any other kind of thing where you can, upload it, you can do it, and it's free. It's free. So, Opti's in the house. Welcome. Merry Christmas. Hope your church service went well. So back to the overview, which I'll have to speed this up a little bit. 2025, there were a lot of ETFs that launched, and there were over 75 new crypto ETFs, Keda, expanding beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. They included altcoins this time. They included Solana ETFs, which was Bitwise had Solana staking ETFs in October that attracted initial inflows. XRP had ETFs. Bitwise XRP ETF was on the New York Stock Exchange in November with 58 million in day one volume, outperforming Solana's debut. There were also Dogecoin, Litecoin, HBAR, which is Hedera, and Chainlink products that came out this year. Total crypto ETF inflows reached $34 billion, though many investors face losses due to buying at peaks, which we'll talk about that, including ETFs like Bitwise. The 10 crypto index BITW had diversified holdings across top assets, including XRP and Solana. So we touched on this on a show too, Keda, where we talked about the ETFs and are they a big deal and all of that sort of thing. This is one of the things that, man, I tell you, you're not necessarily holding the asset. It's kind of like the crypto Roth, right? You're holding an interest in it.
Right. But I think it's important,
it's
though.
a
I
dip your
think it's
toe
important
moment for people that don't know about crypto, right?
Yeah, but I think it's all important, right? Because when it comes down to it, those people that are getting into the ETFs are there because one, they see an interest in the actual asset itself, but they're like, I don't necessarily want the volatility of the actual asset. I don't want to feel stressed out about whether or not, this particular asset is going to, rise in price or lower in price. So let me go on ahead and just go ahead and purchase this particular, fund and just basically fund it and allow for it to do whatever it's going to do.
Yep.
That's how I see the ETFs. Okay. And the beautiful thing about that is when you start, for myself, I have actually gotten into a Franklin Templeton and, I have an account with them. I have, money in one of their actual funds that are there. And that's a way to just put money in and allow it to do what it does for that particular fund. And then be able to get a guaranteed, this is a guaranteed amount of, of a return on your investment, right? Now, there are going to be some people that are like, nah, I'm not really feeling that. I really want to be able to make more money off of it. Okay. This is where the ETFs come in because that fund that I'm talking about is not an ETF.
Right.
Right. The ETFs are different because the ETFs are going to actually go out and purchase the actual asset associated with that particular fund. Okay. It does not mean that you own the asset. What it means that you are basically bought into the fund that facilitates the purchase of those assets. Okay. So when you think about it, and mind you, I'm of the mindset of if it's really that serious to you, buy the asset.
Right.
Okay.
Right now while you can.
Hey, yo, because it's going to be a point where you're not going to be able to buy that asset anymore. Okay. Just think about it from a Bitcoin asset, like situation. Can you buy a whole BTC right now? If you are, God love you. I'm here with you. But there's so many more people that cannot purchase that whole BTC. Almost everybody cannot just purchase a whole BTC.
Yeah, almost everybody here.
Almost everybody. Okay, let's be real here.
And even if you could.
And even if you could, would you really do it? I say it all the time. I'm a math girl.
Right.
Okay.
That's
I'm a
what I'm
math
saying.
girl.
That's what
All
I'm
right.
saying.
I'm going to put it down to like
Yep.
just real layman's numbers. And we're going to start with $10,000. You want to put $10,000 in the BTC, that means you're not even going to get a whole BTC. It means that as of right now, if you are even looking at it from a vantage point of it being at $100,000, you're going to get 10% of that, right? Okay. So that means that even if it goes to 100,000, if it goes to $1 million, you put $10,000 in that bad boy, you are only getting what? You are only getting $100,000 back. Okay. That's what your return on your investment is for $10,000 if it goes to $1 million at this point right now, and it's at $100,000 right now. That means you get 10 times what you put into it. Okay.
Now I will say this. That is a hell of a return, depending on how quickly you can earn it.
It is,
right?
but who has 10,000? Who has that to put into it?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. Here's the thing, though, and you don't have a full Bitcoin.
No,
you don't have a whole one. You got a piece of one. That's what that says. And if it goes to 10 times what it was in the beginning at 100,000, that means it's at a $1 million mark. That like one Bitcoin is worth $1 million. That's what that means. If you got 10 times that amount. Now, when you think about it from that vantage point, and you don't even have a whole one, you don't even have a whole one. The difference is when you buy an XRP right now, you can buy one XRP at how much now? $1.98 a coin. Do the math.
Not financial advice, guys, but here's the thing. People make decisions based on their own personal situation. And so I can see where, if you're diversifying out. Now, for me personally, because Bitcoin has gone up so much, it is not something that I am currently DCAing in, maybe a little bit. I was earning Bitcoin off of the Fold card for purchases. There's different opportunities for people to earn cash back in Bitcoin. I think those are all wonderful things. And if you can earn, something like Bitcoin back for spending cash or whatever, do it all day, do it, because it's free Bitcoin, and it is going to go up. I don't think that Bitcoin is going anywhere, and they will be part of these products, or they already are part of these products. But the fact of the matter is, like Keda was saying, a lot of these, you're not owning the actual coins themselves. And so, it's an interest in. However, for people that have existing portfolios where, they want to start to diversify, but they're too scared. They don't know enough about crypto, but they want to dabble in it. This is a good way for them to get into some products that offer them a more stable and secure way of entering into the crypto space. And so for that, I think it's great. And also, you have to know that any of these, like these ETFs, and where they have to have the 1-for-1, that locks up the asset. And the more products like this that lock up things like XRP, that is going to be help with scarcity and retail market. And so the price will go up as scarce. I mean, that's Bitcoin's thing. Bitcoin is scarce. That's why it's so valuable, yada, 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 all these things. And so when you think about utility tokens and coins, the more scarce they are, meaning the less there are available on the market for folks to buy, the more the demand that's there. And once people start to see the value and they're start to being utilized, the interest increases in them and the price goes up. Because when you start getting more buyers than sellers, and much like Bitcoiners, XRP holders are hodlers. They're hodlers. So
We are.
we are not selling the XRP. So I guess at the end of the day, we will see. Oh, awesome. Amy's in the house, says Merry
Awesome,
Christmas,
Amy.
friend. Merry Christmas. Before so we're at quarter after 9. I did want to touch on a couple other significant things, which are mainly the regulations that were passed, Keda. In the US, the Genius Act was signed into law in July, which established a federal framework for USD-backed stablecoins, including the issuance of rules, seizure capabilities, and consumer protections. And then they also had the Clarity Act, which is HR 3633.
Super
That
important.
That was reported in June, and it aimed to clarify digital asset markets and reduce the SEC and the CFTC overlaps.
I think that's major important. I really believe that Clarity Act is, if not the most important legislation that was actually ratified this year. Call me on it, because at the end of the day, you have to have a lay of the land in order to be able to say what should and shouldn't happen, right? And then also to be able to regulate those things that have happened, right?
Yep.
So it's very difficult to say something, that one thing is explained if you don't have a lay of the land, if you don't have the rules of the road in order to be able to work against.
Yep.
So that Clarity Act, I think, is just that, to give us clarity on what these actual assets are, how they moved, how they should be regulated, who regulates them, what their scope is concerning the particular asset, and what then makes them that asset. So that Clarity Act is super, super important, I feel like.
I definitely want to cover, I want to dive into the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. I got 2 more points, and then I would love to like really hammer home both of those, just so people have an understanding, because I agree with you, Keda. Very, very important. The Clarity Act is very important. The CFPB proposed extending EFTA protections to crypto in January, and FSOC removed crypto from its risk list in this 2025 report. Well, that is important.
Risk list.
Yeah, they removed it from
Yeah. See, I'm like, okay, so cryptocurrencies was a risk to whom?
Right. Well, it was risky because it was more unregulated, all of these things.
No.
So I guess what I'm saying is,
no, it means they couldn't control it, and that's the reason why it was a problem.
Well, yes, and also, I mean, I guess because there's things earlier before when we weren't as close as we are now to clarity and regulations and all of these things, big businesses or just end users, consumers, not knowing what the rules of the road are and all of that makes it very difficult to move in the space. And so it would be risky because you don't know what the rules are. And of course, the way that they play the game is you should have known, you know what I mean? Like after the fact.
I'm sorry. The face says it all.
Uh-huh.
And I gave you that's some BS nonsense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's not an issue of whether or not we were compliant. The issue is that the government didn't know how to regulate it, how to make their money off of it. And because they couldn't figure out a way to make money off of it for themselves and be able to make it be legal, that's where the issue was.
Well,
I'll say it. I don't have no problem.
In any event, the FSOC did remove crypto from the risk list in its 2025 report. Now, globally, the EU's MICA framework, which Mr. Mann, if any of you guys are familiar with Mr. Mann, he's a good friend of ours. He knows quite a lot and does a lot of reporting on all of this stuff. So if you're not familiar with him, go check out his channel. He's Mr. Man. He's a Spider-Man. He's a cool man. He's making moves. He's making major moves. But the MICA framework is fully activated in Q1 now, in 2025, leading to delistings of non-compliant stablecoins like USDT on exchanges there. For countries like India, Brazil, and the UK, they all advanced licensing regimes, shifting from enforcement to structured oversight. So that's what I guess I was trying to say too, is like they kind of were ahead of us in nailing all of this down. But having structured oversight is much better than enforcement, right?
I agree.
But it's
and there's been so much of that lately. I mean, like literally, like the whole, Ripple, situation has been just enforcement. You know what I mean? Like it's just been enforcement. It hasn't been, let me give you the rules of the road. Let's just enforce. You know what I mean? And so, we can call it that. We can see it as that. You know what I mean? And in some instances, it very well may be a situation where Ripple was in line with that.
Well,
I mean, like, okay, we know this is what's happening, so let's just roll on with it, and we'll just call it what it is in the moment. You know what I mean? And it's possible. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it is or isn't. All I'm saying is as of right now, Ripple has been very, very forthright and straightforward with, listen, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. And we're trying to be compliant with whatever rules of the road there are. We need to know what they are. And if you're not telling us that, we're trying to still even move in that particular, framework. You know what I mean? And now that you're coming behind the fact and saying, no, that wasn't what it was, just to see what we were doing in the forthright part of it, to say, okay, no, that's not what it is. Let's move the goalpost over here. You know what I mean?
I will say this though, for the legislators, the ones that make the rules, right? They have to learn about all this stuff. And if you've looked at our Congress people, our representatives, some of them aren't the sharpest tools in the shed.
Okay? All of that part.
All of that. Okay. So yes, they are behind. I do believe though, where I always think there's a smoke screen and there's always, we're watching a movie and that sort of thing. And I don't know about you, but I've noticed over the years, you've got those that shout the loudest. They're in the face. They're talking about all this stuff. There's all this dividing stuff going on, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. They're fighting and they're talking nonsense and they cause chaos and confusion, right? And they seem to tap in and tap out. So it'll be like, at some point you're seeing this person every day, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Well, where do they go? And then, a year or two down the road, they come back and they're like, I'm a crypto genius. I know all about this stuff. Well, you and I both know you can't be doing all of this and being on TV and working and doing all these things and learn about this stuff. This stuff is complex or it's comprehensive. There's so many things that go into it. And if you as a legislator were responsible for making history, because we are at a precipice, this is history in the making. Our world will never be the same, at least not while we're alive, right? It might go back, it might revert back, like how they always say, it cycles, and then we get farther and further in technology, and then we lose it all, and then we come back. I don't know if that's true or not, but the fact of the matter is, while we're all alive right now, these people that are in office, they have an incredible weight on their shoulders. They really do. I don't know that I would want that job, although I think that I would do good with at least giving my opinions on some things. But they have to learn about this stuff. And then also people that work for them have to learn about this stuff and be able to advise them, because it is kind of confusing, and we are learning and growing every single day, and different things are happening. And it's not just one company. So, we've got our eye on Ripple, Oh, Nerdy's in the house. Love you, brother.
Nerdy, I see him
Merry
right
Christmas, my
there.
friend. But we've got our eye on Ripple and some of these other companies, right? But there is a whole bunch of other things going on. Different blockchains, different companies doing this, doing that, and whatever. And these guys are supposed to rail it in, right? They're supposed to rein it in and supposed to regulate it when they don't even know what the frick it is. And some of them are so like in old mind where they like, and I don't mean to say like they're so old, but yeah, some of them are kind of old, just saying. They don't understand what's happening. But you have a lot of these young congressmen that are and women that are really giving this their attention, and some of them speak really intelligently about it. And so, so I do give them a little bit of a break when it comes to that. And we don't want them making laws that are jacked up because they didn't understand. Much like we don't want them signing bills that are 1,000-page long that nobody has the time to read, right? That's when we get into trouble. And that's why I think we have to be so vigilant about what we're learning and educate others and push back on some of this stuff, because they do try to slide that shit in. They try to slide some sneaky, snaky stuff. And so let's talk about the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. The Genius Act, which is which actually I have to say is very clever, a clever name. Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act. And it was signed into law on July 18th, 2025 by President Donald J. Trump. It's the first major U.S. federal legislation specifically for stablecoins, focusing on USD-pegged payment stablecoins backed by liquid reserves to promote innovation and position in the U.S. as a global leader in digital assets. Okay, so we've decided we want to be a global leader. And there's 3 bullet points here. And if you don't mind, Keda, I'll just read them. For that, and then I'll let you maybe tackle the Clarity Act one if you do have the notes up. If not, I can do that one. But so what the Genius Act did, it's a federal framework for issuance. So it establishes rules for non-bank entities, federal or state qualified, or their subsidiaries of insured depository institutions to issue stablecoins, including approval by a primary federal regulator. It emphasizes reserve requirements, consumer protections, and seizure capabilities for illicit activities. So those are pretty important parts, because well, what happens if it can you see something if somebody did something illegal? Is it, what kind of consumer protections are afforded, for these stable coins? If they're going to be a part of, being a global leader in digital assets, you can't have a wonky stable coin rules, right? You have to know that they're going to be playing by some of the same type of standards that some of the other countries are playing as well. It also is preemptive of state laws, so it allows certain stablecoin issuers, for example, those that are tied to banks, they can actually bypass complex state money transmitter licensing, potentially simplifying the operations while reducing regulatory burdens compared to the 49 state patchwork, which I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, what this means. We did cover this in a previous show, like a long time ago, when we were just even speculating whether or not it was going to be passed or not. But if I do remember, this was to make it easier on the state for the state laws.
I don't think that it's necessarily that it makes it makes it easier for the states. I think what it does is it brings it back to the states, right?
Okay.
So the state can actually make the decision, as opposed to it being a federal thing. It's now a state thing. Okay. And here's the thing, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of situations where state I think that's what's happening with a lot of the things that that are happening right now. That we're not trying to make it necessarily a federal thing. We're trying to make it a state thing, so that the actual state mandate is what happens. Because even when it comes down to like funding, right? There's one thing when it comes to like the federal funding and then also the state funding. So I think that when it comes down to it, when they bring it down to the state level and they say, okay, the state is saying this is what's happening from this vantage point, I think that it's even more impactful when it's at a state level as opposed to it if it's at a federal level. Like the federal level is like the broad overstanding part of it, but the state level is like, okay, we're in the trenches, and this is what it is for the trenches.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that that's correct because, and I see what you're saying about the states, but it says bypass complex state money transmitter licensing, potentially simplifying operations while reducing regulatory burdens. So it would allow certain stablecoin issuers that like those that are tied to banks to bypass those, so that the banks could actually operate more easily in the states. And I would love if for the chat, if anybody knows what the heck we're talking about
And
when it comes to this,
I think that's important to say
because
because
different states have much tighter.
right. No, and I agree with that. And here's the reason why I say that is because when you're dealing with a bank, regardless of whether your bank is in the state that you live in, they're going to be dealing with other states and other places, right? So if that's the case,
Yes.
then they're going to have an actual regulatory standpoint that hangs above everything else, regardless of what's happening in the state level. So that means that they have to have that overstanding type of a regulation that sits there, like, okay, this is sitting here, and then as your states come across, you're actually acting from a state level from that point, but the overbearing part of it is actual like federal level.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I do agree with you on that, Melissa, for sure. And I think that that's where we need to seek the understanding is from the actual federal standing, so that way we can actually bring it to the actual like state level and say, okay, from the federal level, this is where the state standard comes into play.
I see. Yeah. Well, it also has regulatory oversight and innovation, just like you were saying. And it in this particular Genius Act defines federal qualified non-bankment payment stablecoin issuer, which aims to foster growth in the digital asset ecosystem with implications for banks and issuers and custody payments and tokenized funds. So basically, to me, this is like, it's the federal framework for non-bank entities and even the banks, for them to be the non-banks to be able to participate in these custody payments and tokenized funds.
So when we're looking at non-bank, we're looking at the institutions like Fidelity. We're looking at the institutions like your bank institutions that are, or maybe not even banking, but just institutions that are saying, I've got this fund. Let's try to facilitate this fund, but we're not necessarily a bank. Is that where you're seeing it, Melissa?
I think so. We've got about 20 minutes left. Do you have the notes for the Clarity Act, or do you need me?
I don't have. Wait, hold on. I believe that I do. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay.
No,
sorry.
I was going to say, if you wanted to do the Clarity Act one, kind of go over that. And then we've got a few more things that we're going to have to speed through, really. It'll have to be like on 2X. I'm gonna have to really talk fast.
All right. So from the Clarity Act. So the Clarity Act, Digital Asset Market Clarity Act of 2025, HR 3633, reported in June 2025 and signed into law in July 2025. This act provides regulatory clarity for digital assets by distinguishing between securities and commodities, shifting oversight to the CFTC for non-security digital commodities, and enabling banks to participate more directly in the crypto economy. So the key definitions and jurisdiction defines digital commodity as assets whose value is intrinsically linked to blockchain use, grants the CFTC exclusive authority over digital commodity intermediaries, including exchanges, brokers, and custodians, while clarifying which assets fall outside of SEC securities rules. It also does have exemptions and regulations. It offers exemptions from traditional securities registration for issuers of digital commodities, creates new CFTC registration categories like digital commodity exchanges, and brokers to streamline trading, custody, and intermediation. I know that was a lot to unpack in one little broad like type of a situation, but I think that all of that gives a lot of good information about where we are when it comes to all of the different things that we need to see in play before we see some type of price appreciation. Because there's a lot in that I just said that a lot of people are not necessarily really like interacting with or really understanding. Am I wrong in that?
No, not at all. It definitely, guys, I would look up the Clarity Act because it is very important. Both the Genius Act and the Clarity Act that were signed into law in 2025. Those two things, they're a big thing for the digital asset space. In it definitely providing more regulatory clarity, which, even though it's frustrating for people to say like, oh, we don't need it. We do need it because this is our future. And these, when you watch how these people are moving, that's going to give you an indication on how close we are also to mass adoption. And when mass adoption happens, price go up. So, that is why I always say it's really important. We got 105 people in here, Keda. I've had a couple friends from high school pop in. I want to say hello to Lisa. So welcome to Dip a Toe. Merry Christmas. We love you. Mr. Zan's in the house. In Thunderbird World Media. Merry Christmas, you guys. We really appreciate you coming. I did post the link to the after space on X. If those of you are interested, we'll do that at 10:10. I have it posted under both the Dipato Show and World Be Free accounts on X, so you can find them easily. But we'll be over there at 10:10. Now, so I have a few more things, Keda, that I would love to kind of go through real quick, and I'm just going to breeze through them, right? Because we're running short on time now. I just want to say my notes are wrong. Bitcoin, they had highs and lows during 2025. My notes said it reached an all-time high of 93,619 on December 4th. I thought Bitcoin was over 100,000. Wasn't it up to like 125 or something? I mean,
it was 120 some odd $1,000.
So this is inaccurate. So I don't really even want to. I really want to even talk about it. But the fact is, there was the talk of the strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement, and so it did face some volatility, around that time. And it's kind of calmed down now, but like we said, Bitcoin's not going away. And if you have a little Bitcoin, just hold on to it. Don't spend it. Don't do anything with it. Just create the rest of your portfolio with some other stuff. The other thing we'll talk about real quick, new technologies and company mergers, like we talked about the Ripple mergers and acquisitions. They hit $8.6 billion in 2025, up from $2.17 billion in 2024. So if that tells you anything, how much of an interest and further down the road we are in 2025 than we are in 2024. And why did this happen? Because of regulatory clarity under Trump. President Trump, and they had the signing of the deals and the like we just said, the Clarity Act and the Genius Act. There were some rate cuts in market growth. And so fintech crypto deals reached like $8 billion and primarily focused on stable coins post the Genius Act. They also had technological advancements, included AI crypto integrations, privacy-focused chains, and blockchain for cross-border sectors, applications like supply chain and healthcare. Notable bursts in Q1 and Q3 reflected strategic expansions. And so with that, talking about privacy-focused chains and that Cardano and Midnight. So Cardano focused this year in 2025 on DeFi growth, and they launched Midnight in late 2025 as a partner chain that emphasizes privacy-enhancing features for data protection and secure DeFi. They have what's called the Knight token, which is their governance and native asset on the Midnight chain. And that is I don't want to get into prices, but it was 6 cents by the end of the year. They have projections that it's going to be 10x without harming ADA's ecosystem. So we'll see what ends up happening with Midnight, but you guys might want to look into Cardano and Midnight. And basically Midnight's tech generates dust for shielding transactions, and that positioned Cardano as a leader in privacy amid 2025's focus on data security. So there's that one. I will also, I can't say it because I can't remember the name of them. We did do a group video on Dipito's show where there's some pretty exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. And it's escaping my brain right now, the name of the company, but we had some really awesome people on that talked about privacy and security and their desire in helping small businesses with that. It was the one with Tyler from the TI project came on to talk about that. And it was just a couple shows ago. Super, super interesting. So you guys go back and watch that show. Also, XPR, that is Proton, XPR, Metallicus. They are bank integrations for credit unions. So they partnered with a company called D-Land Cuso in August of 2025 to enable credit unions and community banks to issue branded stablecoins and integrate digital assets like XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDC via the Metal blockchain. So this included custody service and pilots like Minnesota's Cloud Dollar, CLD USD for faster payments. So guys, I'm just touching on that for you to realize there are so many more things going on than Bitcoin and XRP and Ethereum. There are other things that people are sleeping on, and XRP and Metallicus is the Metal blockchain. Look it up. Look at it. They're already doing the pilots, like I said, Minnesota's Cloud Dollar. Be prepared for credit unions to come online here with crypto and these community banks. And we want these small community banks to succeed. So this is a major play if you look into it a little bit better. The other thing, let's see. Broader bank integrations grew under the Genius Act, with credit unions exploring blockchain for remittances and treasury, which enhances XRP's utility in the United States financial institutions. Finally, we have the final thing, and then we got time for like little chit chat. Country adoptions. So significant use cases in different countries. We saw adoption surge in emerging markets, with India leading the 2025 Global Adoption Index for payments and remittances. 35 to 36% of crypto use. That's pretty big. The U.S. Focused on institutional stablecoins and DeFi under new regulations. Pakistan and the Philippines emphasized on cross-border payments or cross-border transfers via blockchain, reducing fees. Brazil integrated crypto for treasury and B2B, which is that business to business. Globally, stablecoins and dominated for remittances in Africa, emerging markets, while the EU used MiCA for compliant trading. Other use cases explored during 2025 included supply chain transparency in oil and gas. For example, the UAE, also healthcare data security, that happened major place in Singapore with that, and then real estate tokenization being kind of piloted in Portugal. So all of those things, those are some things you could kind of look up for yourself. Just listen back to this and type it in, and you will find a plethora of information on it, right? That's how I do my research. I listen to other people talk about stuff, and I go, this sounds interesting. Why don't I look this up? And then that's how I find out the stuff that I know. And then finally, cross-border payments hit a turning point, projecting 290 trillion by 2030. So there you go, guys. That is my overview of 2025, and it is just a little baby. Like, it's not even like, all you have to do is go back and watch Dip a Toe Show for the past year and Digital Ladies Unscripted. All of the things we talked about, and not only little parts of them are even in this overview that we just did, because there's so many things that happened in 2025, and you can only fit so much in a 2-hour show, you know.
True.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Amy says many winners. Yeah, guys, this is the thing. If you're here on Christmas Eve in 2025, you already got your feelers out. You already know. You got your eyes to see. You recognize the opportunity. Push yourself to the limit, is what I say. Not financial advice. Even if you don't spend a dime, push yourself to the limit in 2026 to learn everything you can about what's going on in the world when it comes to digital assets and cryptocurrency and the future. Like, learn everything you possibly can. Would you agree, Keda?
I totally agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, you are what you know. You know what I'm saying? And all we can do is give you the information, and it's totally up to you to pick those reins up and run with it. You know what I mean? We can give you as much as we can. We can try to give as much conjecture as we can. But at the end of the day, the learning has to be a choice, and I'm all about some choices, My choice is to understand as much as I can about this ecosystem, so that as it comes forward, when they start to put out things that don't sound necessarily right, you can say to yourself, no, they are right.
They're right.
They're right. They run along the lines of what they was planning on doing in the first place. So if that's the case, then you can't be upset at the things you're doing. So it's a matter of just kind of putting things in place and putting them into perspective, so that you can actually move with them accordingly, And I love the fact that Melissa is here to give you the information front and center, in your face, every time, so that you can make those decisions for yourself in order to be involved or not. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because it all is a choice. You know?
It is a choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
How you spend your time, who you allow in your circle, where your attention where your attention goes, your energy flows, right?
Yeah.
If you are starting to dip your toe and give this your energy and your time, you will be rewarded in many
Absolutely.
more ways than just
Not just from a monetary standpoint.
not from a monetary standpoint alone.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because the amount of people that I have met and connected with in space and have taught me so many different valuable things in just the last 6 to 8 months that I literally can speak on has been immeasurable. Like, I can't even tell you to the depths of how important their interactions are in my daily life right now. From Miss World Be Free to Miss Lady K to Miss Optimistic Prime to all of the folks that have really aligned themselves with just going and making their vibrations be higher, and to be able to give back to this particular like ecosystem and environment, along with those people that are associated with that environment. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different aspects of this that are so important. And as we're coming to the close of 2025 and going into 2026, like, it's just crazy. Like, literally, I'm sitting here thinking about it and thinking about all the things that have happened in 2025 into 2026. Like, and I'm only starting from May.
Right?
I'm not even starting from January. I'm starting from May. Okay? Because to me, for May of 2026 was just a major like stepping stone, as well as place for you to be able to grow your ecosystem, to learn more about what's happening in the purview of everything that you're doing in this digital asset and cryptocurrency space. And then also to be able to learn more and to be able to get more information from those builders that are out here that are doing the real technical analysis, as well as machinations enable for you to be able to sustain yourself in this ecosystem, has just been exponential. Like, 2025 is just an amazing year for all of us involved. You know what I mean? Across the show, like, you got Melissa over here making a daggone token for her own dip a toe situation. Like
And an NFT. And an NFT.
And an NFT. Like, come on.
Not done yet, but.
And we're not. That's the thing. We're talking about the progenitors of this particular system, right? So she's building out an ecosystem, don't even realize that she's doing it, and in such a way that she can build on all of those people that have been watching her show from the very beginning until now. Like, all of this stuff is so real. Like, if you don't think about it I'm sorry, my brain just sees it all in totality. And I'm not seeing it from a micro level. I'm seeing it from a macro level. Like, Melissa is building like a whole like ecosystem for everybody involved. All those people that come to dip a toe, all those people that come to Digital Ladies Unscripted, all those people that come, and all of the shows that are just branched off from it, my show included. It's like, she doesn't understand like the type of work that she's put in for these last couple of years, and that now you're able to start to see the manifestations of all of your machinations, of everything that you're putting out there into the universe, and seeing them coming back to you. Like, those things are so freaking amazing. I'm so glad to be able to see her face smiling through it all, and seeing her be able to receive all of this in the moment, because that's what we're having. I guarantee you 2025 is like the landmark year of everything that's coming for Miss World Be Free and Dip a Toe, and as well as Keda's Brew TV. Like, everything is coming from her. Everything. If you haven't seen it, I'm telling you that right now. Everything is coming from this young lady right here, right now, because she is like the progenitor of all of this. The first person to be on an actual like television show on IMU TV, like broadcasting to 30 countries. She was the first one, period. Can't nobody else say that besides herself.
I love you, Keda.
I love you too.
I appreciate you so much. I did want to say this, guys. This is the show right here, Digital Ladies. It's also on Dip a Toe Show's channel. Crypto Education Unlocked, free and low-cost paths to becoming a blockchain builder. There are so many resources provided in this video that Digital Ladies did. If you have not seen this video, go back and watch it. Watch it again and again. It is one of the ones that I would really suggest. And there's a lot, like I said, free or very low cost. So I wanted to be able to, oh geez, what happened?
I like it though. It's super cute.
I'm like, hello, we're elves. We're so little. Like, let's oh, that's hilarious. But yeah, guys, it would be awesome if you guys would check that out, because there are a lot of people out there that are trying to educate the space. I do my part. Keda does her part. Stone, Coffee and Crypto with Stone in the Morning, does his part. You've got Optimistic Prime building for the past 6 years with the Wandering Footprint. You have Mr. Zam and Steak and Bake with their business where they're trying to help educate others and bringing their business on chain, like smoothing out everything that they need to know and how to move and operate. Basically, for those of you, I seem to have a couple of high school friends watching tonight. If you know anybody who's interested in crypto, or who has a business that's interested in learning how to incorporate. I know people. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that if you're a music person and you've created your own songs and you're trying to make it, I could show you how to get on IMU TV. I can introduce you to the people, the creators of IMUTV.tv. If you want to be at the precipice, the very beginning of all of this stuff, and say you were there when I wasn't sleeping when this stuff was going down, I was in it. Dip a Toe can help you get there. Just saying. We're not going to do the work for you, but I can definitely show. Yeah, we grow together, Amy. We grow together always. And, to everybody that supported this show, we love you so much. Simon loves you. Sorry I lost this but this is a cool one for sure. John X, we love you. Thank you for stopping by the Dip a Toe show. It's fantastic. Let's go for real. We're going to have an after space here at 10:10 on X. And so if you would like to join us over there and continue the conversation, please do. We have an extremely cool song as a closer that's like 2 minutes and something. So I like
to hang out with us tonight.
Yep.
And be able to be in this space with us. I'm not going to say too much because it's going to be time for that show.
It's time right now.
Let's go.
You guys, we love you. Please join us in the after space. Merry Christmas. Simon and I will be back next week on New Year's Eve to close out 2025. Keda, thank you so much for joining me. Love you all. Have a good night, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Step right up, let's take the dive. Crypto world is coming alive. From XRP to the blockchain beat. Join the crew where pioneers meet. Got builders, dreamers, paving the way. Multi-chain vibes, we're here to stay. Wanna know? Don't a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Faces of crypto, stories we share. Early adopters, they're everywhere. From XRP to the Web3 wave. Bold moves, only we're here to pay. Melissa and Simon, they light the way. Every week it's a crypto play. Wanna know? Don't wait, let's go. Dip a toe, join the Web3 flow. Take a step, explore the scene. Dip a toe, show, living the dream. From the ledger to the stars we climb. Crypto's future, it's our time. Dip a toe, yeah, take that chance. Join the vibe, let's crypto dance. Let's crypto dance. No advice, just a spark to ignite. Do your research, keep your vision tight. Community strong, we're building the way. Dip a toe show, here to stay.